So a very good afternoon to all of you. So today we will be starting the concept of sampling theorem. But before the start of sampling theorem, I would like to emphasize certain problems. I want to explain certain problems that will be very helpful in summarizing our course of signals and systems, because these problems will at the end make us eligible as a good signal and systems engineer. So let ft be an even function that is given. Okay, now Fourier transform of ft be f of omega. Okay, so the basic form of Fourier transform is f of omega equals to minus infinity to plus infinity f of t e to the power minus j omega t dt. Okay, now it is given that suppose df omega by d omega is minus omega f of omega for all omega, and f of 0 is 1. Then we have to find out of these four options which one is correct. Okay, I hope the question is clear. Now it is given that df by d omega is minus omega f omega. I will integrate it on both of sides. Once after integration, we will come to the expression of ln omega equals to minus omega square by 2. So from here we can get ln omega equals to minus omega square by 2. So f of omega is e to the power minus omega square by 2. I think this is clear. Now if f of omega is equals to e to the power minus omega square by 2 plus c, yes, because this form is not correct, we have to integrate the constant of integration. Now if we put omega equals to 0, so f of 0 is c plus 1, and it is given that f of 0 is 1. So 1 equals to c plus 1, so c equals to 0. So this is a very crucial part. Even some people who have simply written the answer as this, just by mere luck their answer is coming out to be correct. Now f of omega is e to the power minus omega square by 2. Okay, now take the Fourier transform of e to the power minus pi t square is e to the power minus pi f square. Is it clear? So now I will try to get the Fourier transform of this. Although I remember it is under root pi by 2 e to the power minus e to the power minus at square, it is under root pi by a, yes, under root pi by a e to the power minus omega square by 4. Okay, that is here, that it should be remembered, e to the power minus omega square by 4a. Okay, clear? This is the thing, but I am not going to simply use this part. I am going to deduce this expression. So let's begin with the one formula that everyone remembers, that is e to the power minus pi t square gives the Fourier transform as e to the power minus pi f square. Is it clear? Okay, now it is clear. Now if e to the power minus pi t square gives e to the power minus pi f square, I will be replacing f by omega by 2 pi. Okay, clear? F becomes omega by 2 pi, or it becomes omega square by 4 pi square. I think till this point it is very clear. Now e to the power minus at square gives us e to the power minus pi t square. Clear? I think again I am clear that e to the power minus at square is e to the power minus pi t square. So if we have to obtain this part, then what will be the scaling factor? Okay, so if I scale t by under root a by under root pi t, then automatically this becomes a, pi cancels out, and it gives me e to the power minus at square. Is it clear? Yes. Now if this is clearly understood, then I can straight away write that e to the power minus at square is nothing But in this formula, if you scale t by under root a by under root pi t, then you will get this. So obviously this scaling is done that this particular scaling has to be reflected on the Fourier domain. Clear? So in the Fourier domain it becomes omega by a and 1 by a. So it is 1 by a, so it is under root pi by a, and omega by a is omega square upon a, and pi goes on the numerator. Are you getting it? This is what I was talking about. 1 by a, f of omega by a, this is it, f of omega, this goes on the numerator. Okay, so this is under root pi by a, f of under root pi by a omega. Now nothing more is left. We are left with e to the power minus at square. It cancels out and gives me e to the power minus at square equals to under root pi by a, e to the power minus omega square by 4a. If this is clear, if I am again keeping an if, this should be very clear and this should be remembered. It is very important result. E to the power minus at square gives under root pi by a, e to the power minus omega square upon 4a. Okay. Now coming back to our question, it was e to the power minus omega square by 2. What will be its Fourier transform? So the scaling factor is half. So automatically the Fourier transform of under root 2 pi is e to the power minus omega square by 2 is e to the power minus 2t square. Is that clear? Okay. Now e to the power minus omega square by 2 is e to the power minus 2t square upon under root pi. Clear? Now this at t equals to 0, because it has been asked the value at the value of f of 0. So when you put this value, if you put this value, then you are bound to get 1 upon under root 2 pi. Okay, I think it is quite clear. Now let's begin with some properties. I am not going to emphasize on this part. I will just want to let you revise one formula. A rectangular t by tau gives us a tau sampling omega tau by 2 as Fourier transform. A triangular t by tau gives us a tau by 2 sampling square omega tau by 4. This needs to be remembered very well. This is very important. Clear? Some properties which are left to be explained. One is differentiation in z domain. Okay, be very particular that if you are multiplying it by n, then you are bound to get minus d by dz. Okay, this I think discussed. If it is n plus 1, simply multiply z to the power 1. Okay, if it is minus n, simply multiply by z to the power minus 1. Initial value and final value theorems. Now these are very important. First of all, these are only applicable to causal systems. Be very particular about it. Okay, and a causal system can be identified if Fn is the transfer function or the impulse response, then it will be 0 for n less than 0. That is causal. And Fn equals to 0 for n greater than 0, then it is anti-causal. Clear? Now coming back to f of z. F of z is summation n to the n varying from 0 to infinity f of n z to the power minus n. Now whatever we are calculating in the initial value theorem, we should be very particular that this is being calculated for anti-causal system. Okay, because we are straight away calculating from n equal to 0 onwards. No, sorry, we are calculating this for causal system. Okay, sorry, I take back my words. These are not anti-causal, because for anti-causal Fn is 0 for n greater than 0. Clear? Okay. Now Fz is summation n equals to 0 to infinity Fn z to the power minus n, f of 0 plus f of 1 z to the power minus 1 plus f of 2 z to the power minus 2, and so on. Now I will take limit z tending to infinity on both the sides. We can very well say that as z tends to infinity, then all of these terms will go to 0. Just f of 0 is left. So we get the initial value theorem as limit z tending to infinity f of z gives us f of 0. Okay, I will discuss the final value theorem in the next class, so please listen to this carefully, and after that I will start our discussion on sampling theorem. Have a fine day.